Immediately following this scene, King Claudius presents a very different worldview, um, more of a medieval Catholic view of a sense of self. What Claudius says to Prince Hamlet next is, you are just like everyone else. You are like the millions of people who have always existed on this planet. He doesn't say it in a nasty way. He doesn't say it in a belligerent or antagonistic way. On the contrary, what King Claudius says to Hamlet here is quite warm and remarkable if you're an audience member watching this play for the first time and you don't know that Claudius actually killed King Hamlet. What he says here to Prince Hamlet is very gentle, it's very warm, it's embracing, it's very practical, it's very fatherly. Um, but it also is grounded on an understanding of the individual or self, which is for most of us very alien or foreign. Let's see what he says. He says, "'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father." It's good that you're mourning your father and that you're so upset. He says, "But you must know your father lost a father. Your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness, right? You're not being pious. 'Tis unmanly grief. You're grieving too much. It shows a will most incorrect to have in a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, and understanding simple and unschooled. You're being naive and immature to think that you're different or that your feelings are different. For what we most know must be and is as common as any most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still has cried from the first corpse till he that died today, this must be so. What King Claudius says here to Prince Hamlet is, you have to accept this. You have to accept not just that your father died, but that you are like everyone else. Everybody's father dies, and you will die too. In that sense, we are not all individuals. We are all very much the same. There is very little distinctiveness. We pray you throw to earth this unprevailing woe and think of us as a father. Let me be your father. And this is quite kind, right? For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne. You're going to be second in command. Of course, that raises the question in a culture of primogeniture, why Prince Hamlet did not take over the throne from King Hamlet, something that we've got to consider throughout the play. He says, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you. For your intent is going back to school in Wittenberg. Prince Hamlet is planning going back to university at Wittenberg. Wittenberg, of course, a very important place in Reformation history. That's where Martin Luther made his stand. That's where Martin Luther said to the Catholic Church, my relationship with God is determined by my individual faith, not by the Catholic liturgy. And that's where Luther insisted that yes, each individual is a distinctive I in the eyes of God, to which the medieval Catholic world, people like Sir Thomas More, thought that was insane, thought that was asinine. How can all these people that have ever lived, right, have the same relationship to God? How is that possible? So it's interesting that Shakespeare places Prince Hamlet at a particular university at Wittenberg. But anyways, Hamlet wants to go back there, and Claudius is saying, no, we'd like you to stay home under the circumstances. It is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you bend to remain here in our cheer and comfort and our eye, our chiefest courtier cousin and our son. And at that point, Gertrude joins in, and she says, yes, Hamlet, we'd like you to stay at home and help us rule. And Prince Hamlet agrees. But Claudius's speech here, particularly early on, again, when we don't know he's guilty, is quite remarkable. On the one hand, it's empathetic. It's pragmatic fatherly advice. It says, you've got to come out of this grieving mode. You've got to live. I'll be your father. You have a place, right? I don't see you as a rival. I'll take you in. But again, Hamlet insists throughout the play, I am different. I am distinctive. I am not going to give up on my grief and just become the average avenger in a revenge play.